going to be comfortable, high 75. Clear for Tuesday night, 56. More sunshine Wednesday with a few afternoon clouds and 77. Thursday's partly sunny, just a chance of a shower or thunderstorm, and a high of 75. I'm WHAV meteorologist Rob St. Pierre. Your next wave weather in 30 minutes.
More of your soft gold favorites. WHAV Open Mic.
From the Edwin V. Johnson Newsroom, WHAV presents the Open Mic Show with Tim Coco. Make your voice heard. Call 978-374-1900. That's 978-374-1900. Or email tcoco@whav.net.
Welcome, everyone. I'm Tim Coco, and this is the Open Mic Show. If you were tuning in last week or tried to, it was technical problems from one end to the other. But everything is in great shape now, lest I jinx it. But in any event, there's a whole new system at WHAV.tv where you can watch the program. You can also watch the program on Haverhill Community Television, Channel 22 in Haverhill. Now, we've also, while we were at it, first of all, I think you're going to find the quality is much better, and the new message system. So if you go to WHAV.tv on your computer or smartphone, you will now be able to write comments to me during the program simply by using a new registration of the WHAV.net website, or you can use your existing Twitter account, your existing Facebook account, your existing Google Plus account, and if you happen to have a WordPress.com account, that will work as well. So you no longer have to remember something new to send messages through the message board at WHAV.tv. But I do urge you to try it out, because I expect people will be finding it much easier to place comments, and you'll be able to follow along, sometimes even before I get to the subjects in question. So there you have it. You can watch the program at WHAV.tv or on HC Media, formerly Haverhill Community Television, Channel 22 in Haverhill. You can listen, however, to the Open Mic Show, and matter of fact, WHAV 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at WHAV.net on your computer or smartphone. Also on AM radio, 1640. And on cable television, usually the sound behind those bulletin board messages you see, and over Channel 8, Haverhill Channel 22, Methuen Channels 8 and 22 on Comcast, Channel 32 on Verizon Fios, Plasto Channels 17 and 23, Sandown Channel 17. I want to thank the board, staff, management, and members of the various public access television stations across the Merrimack Valley for bringing WHAV to those without internet access. Okay, you heard about how you can comment during the program, but why don't you give us a call instead? And matter of fact, calling is the only way to make sure you're eligible to win prizes. So you may call 978-374-1900, 978-374-1900. Now, if you're shy, go ahead and use that message board. Or if you have an anonymous tip you want to give me, you can also email me directly at tcoco, T-C-O-C-O, at WHAV.net. Now, if I appear to be too much to the right of your screen, I'll ask Nate to recenter the camera. Now, thanks to last week's horrendous technological failures, and actually one of them was a man-made failure, we did not realize that our television vendor, Justin TV, had gone out of business. This is the way of the world sometimes, but Justin TV made a lot of money selling off their Twitch division, and then decided, hey, we're all billionaires now. Who cares about anybody else? So they shut down Justin. But we're going to use this system for the time being. We're still evaluating other options. Look forward to any feedback you might provide during the program. And also just switch it on so that you can actually call me. All right. Well, let's start with some things in the news. It seems like the market basket fiasco is ongoing. And Governor Deval Patrick, who you'll see on your TV screen in a moment, on radio, you'll just have to imagine the governor. The governor of Massachusetts and the governor of New Hampshire, Maggie Hassan, have said enough is enough, and they are going to work together to push market basket bosses and former bosses to work together to solve the problem. Now, the Boston Globe reported this afternoon, now they seem to be the first with it, we'll give them credit for that, that there is no financial dispute between the two cousins named Arthur. Arthur T., the recently fired chief executive officer of Market Basket, and Arthur S., who's on the majority side among the shareholders, apparently are arguing about something other than money. But when it comes to this family, it doesn't take much to argue about anything else. For all we know, it was about whether someone took an extra dessert during Thanksgiving 40 years ago. Who knows? But in any event, some of the customers and employees who are holding out to return to Market Basket or to stop picketing anyway, they are waiting for RDT to come back. And they've been skeptical of the governor's involvement in the last few weeks because the governor's wife apparently works for the law firm that is on the Arthur S. side of the family. So it remains to be seen now whether or not she simply works for a 500-member law firm and had nothing to do with it, or whether she's actively involved. I guess we don't know that. Certainly no one has given us any disclosures on it. The Globe was kind of funny about it. They said Patrick first dipped his pinky toe into the swamp that is Market Basket on August 8th, and then the following week he dipped his big toe in. So they're not taking all this too seriously either. Do you have a thought now that this is dragged on for this long about Market Basket, about Arthur S. Demoulas or his cousin Arthur T.? Seems like, as we heard on this program a few weeks ago, Professor Richard Wolff, this is going to go down in the history books. This is happily a nonviolent protest, but not unlike the giant ones in this nation's history where workers have revolted, and unusually in favor, in this case, of the former CEO. Sometimes workers revolt and knock out CEOs, or customers revolt and knock out CEOs. We saw this happen recently with, what company was it? Mozilla, people who make the Firefox browser. Protests over the new CEO's political stands caused the company to part ways with the CEO. So we have one against and one for. So the power of the people is not to be underestimated, especially in this case. Also, today, the Boston Globe reported that one of Market Basket's largest vendors, a seafood vendor, Boston Sword and Tuna, they provide its Market Basket with 30,000 pounds of salmon every week and 25,000 pounds of other seafood. Well, they're saying they're not going to do anything else. They're not going to ship any more food to Market Basket because Market Basket isn't paying their bills. At least that's what they say. Market Basket says it sent an overpayment, but it's obviously very confusing with two new CEOs. There was obviously no coordination between Arthur T., who was thrown out, and the new team that came in. And I always thought it was difficult to have two bosses to begin with. So the Market Basket Board of Directors brought in Felicia Thornton and James Gooch to run the company together. Probably each one thought, oh, I thought you paid that bill. It's kind of like a husband and wife squabble, right? I thought you paid that bill. No, didn't you? Oh, well, we've just lost 50,000 pounds of seafood each week. You can't make this stuff up. The market basket fiasco is truly that. Do you have a thought on that? We're going to have open lines most of the night. 978-374-1900. All right. Please do check out the new chat board at WHAV.tv. Let us know what you think of the quality of the photos. As a matter of fact, my camera actually is not as good as the one in the control room, so we want Nate to flash you a smile. I said smile. And so you can see the quality of a high-def camera on this system. And if you can tell the difference, maybe you want to help us buy another camera so that we can improve the quality in both rooms at WHAV. There have been lots of prizes. Let's see where we left off. Well, first of all, I think we still owe people. There's Nate on the screen now. I think we still owe people prizes. We're working on that. I do have some temporary help here tomorrow to kind of help us catch up. At least we're not moving 50,000 pounds of seafood, rather a couple of cakes, I think. So if you have a birthday or an anniversary, or you have a friend, a coworker, neighbor down the street, someone you barely know but hoping to be invited over for birthday cake, submit their name if they have a birthday or an anniversary in September next month. So this way we can give out the prize the last week of this month, and they'll have it in time for their birthday or anniversary party. Our thanks go out to LBD's Italian Bakery, 140 South Main Street in Bradford, a section of Haverhill. LBD's, I got this list last week when someone picked up a few things for me. And pizza, cookies, mini pastries, breads, pies, pastries, desserts, and sweetbreads, specialty cakes. I mean, this is the place to go if you have a craving. Look at this. Onion rolls, bogey rolls, dinner rolls, hot cross buns. You can buy pizza by the sheet. You can buy it by the slice. You can buy spinach pie by the slice. So many thanks go out to LBD's second-generation Italian bakery. You can win a 7-inch birthday or anniversary cake. Simply call 978-374-1900. Wish someone a happy birthday or a happy anniversary. Again, events that take place in September. The name will be entered into the contest, and we'll draw that at the end of the month. Now, we did have some other prizes here. Good for the asking. The first person to ask. If you'd like to visit the John Greenleaf Whittier birthplace, it's a house that was built in 1688 by an ancestor of a famed poet and abolitionist, John Greenleaf Whittier. It's open to the public, and you can get free admission simply by calling the program and asking for it. First one to do so. And let's see, our friends at Kimball Tavern Antiques at the corner of Salem and South Main Streets in Bradford have this question, and I'm surprised we haven't had more guesses. I think we've had 2 so far. But this one here is simply one you guess at if you don't know, and I don't think anyone knows except the authors of the question. But what is the name of the oldest bowling league in Haverhill? I don't know if that's 10-pin or candlepin. Probably 10-pin is the older one. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong. But what is the name of the oldest bowling league in Haverhill? Give us that name. First person to do so wins a $10 gift certificate. Good, same as cash, at Kimball Tavern Antiques. And I believe David Goudswood had a question for us that I never completely write down, even though he sent it a couple of times, but I'll do it from memory. famous Haverhillite Rob Zombie, in a Rolling Stone interview some years ago, found the Haverhill to be a pretty boring place at that time, and he and his friends decided to play football in a rather unusual location. Take a guess. What is the unusual location? And you can win one of these two card packs, mini packs, Trivial Pursuit games. Great game to play at home with friends, family. Your choice between War and Victory or Flicks, if you can answer that question. Nate, refresh my memory. Did we, weren't we going to give these away for some other reason last week? Trivial Pursuit game. What was that? Did we give them away? In lieu of a birthday cake? Oh, what did we do about it? All right, Nate has to take notes because you probably don't want to be watching or listening to me writing things, so we'll see what Nate comes up. All right, we're going to take a brief break. I believe this is the hour we run Mass Moments, history on this day in Massachusetts. Really short but very interesting. When we come back, we're going to talk about some oddities in Haverhill history as we continue with the Haverhill Heritage Series and the stained glass maker Rocco Francesco. We'll be right back.
Open mic!
Tim Coco and the Open Mic will be right back. Get in on the action. Call 978-374-1900 or email tcoco@whav.net. If you are enjoying this program, please consider making a donation right now. Your donations to not-for-profit WHAV help keep these vital community services on the air. Donate online at www.whav.net.
Phil Christie here. Those Boston stations don't always understand weather in the Merrimack Valley. Stay informed with WAVE weather every 30 minutes, 24 hours a day on Soft Gold, WHAV.
Catch the wave!
The most trusted man in America, news anchor Walter Cronkite, once said, "It is absolutely essential in a democracy to have competition in the media, a lot of competition." That sentiment is one of the driving forces behind WHAV's expanded local news effort. This is News Director Dana Esmel inviting you to listen to my hourly weekday newscasts right here on WHAV. You'll also find the area's most comprehensive local news reporting at WHAV.net on your computer or smartphone. Remember, WHAV is the only Haverhill-based news source, and it's always free.
And that's the way it is.
Expect more at Northern Essex. With campuses in Haverhill and Lawrence, Northern Essex Community College is the only state college located in the lower Merrimack Valley region of Massachusetts. Northern Essex offers over 70 associate degree and certificate programs in the areas of health, business, computers and technology, criminal justice, liberal arts, and more. NECC also provides hundreds of non-credit courses designed for career growth and personal enrichment. For more information, visit necc.mass.edu.
Today is August 18th. On this day in 1887, thousands of adoring hometown fans flocked to Nantasket Beach in Hingham to glimpse Boston-born John L. Sullivan, the heavyweight champion of the world, and the diamond-studded, gold-plated belt he was given on the eve of his world tour. Sullivan had escaped the poverty of his Irish immigrant family by fighting for money, despite the fact that it was illegal in most states. A record of 47 wins, 1 loss, and 3 draws brought Sullivan international fame and close to $1 million in prize money. Alcoholism interrupted and finally ended his boxing career. Considered the first American sports idol, John L. Sullivan was known during his time as the man most men wanted to be. For more about this and other Mass Moments, go online to massmoments.org. Brought to you by the Massachusetts Foundation for the Humanities.
Catch the wave, WHAV. Open mic!
From the Edwin V. Johnson Newsroom, WHAV presents The Open Mic Show with Tim Coco. Make your voice heard. Call 978-374-1900. That's 978-374-1900. Or email tcoco@whav.net.
Welcome back to the Open Mic Show, a 50-year staple of democracy in the Merrimack Valley. Okay, I believe we have a call holding, but I wanted to report on progress with the new message board. We have two comments on there. David Goudsward, first of all, historical oddities are my specialty, and they certainly are. We look forward to hearing more from David Goudsward as we go down this memory lane in a moment. And then apparently a new commenter, Carolyn. Hey, Tim. Boring tie, great show. So now we have another person commenting on my ties. I expected that David Goudswood was going to write in about this one and ask if it came with batteries. But no. So I'm gonna throw this out again, since the tie is kind of a fun topic, especially on early summer evenings when there's not much else going on. I'm throwing this out. If you operate a charity or represent a charity and you have some outlandish tie that you want me to wear to help you raise money or bring awareness to your charity, make sure you get a hold of our producer, Nathan E. Webster III, 978-374-1900, or you can leave a message on the chat board or even email me, tcoco@whav.net. So that we'll keep that out there. Nate, can you show me what you were showing me before? All right, we have on line one a potential answer to a trivia question. You are on the Open Mic Show.
Hello. I believe the answer to the bowling league is the All Saints Church Holy Name Society.
That's not the name we have on this list.
Well, that's because you got it from a bunch of bozos in Bradford.
All right. Now, if anyone doesn't recognize this this listener, this is the former host of the Open Mic Show, person who had the job probably longer than almost anybody else, Jack Bevilacqua. Now, Jack.
Hello.
Jack, tell me what you did with your last prize you won on the program now that you're eligible.
Well, I sold my baseball cards for $1.49.
You sold his baseball cards for $1.49. You obviously didn't go to the right place, but my goodness.
And I also have these fabulous NASCAR decals, which are apparently worthless.
Did you win one of those too?
Yes, I did. Apparently those are worthless.
All right. So, well, maybe they just have to age a bit.
Maybe.
Oh, those baseball cards were, what, 30 years old, though?
Yeah, they were, but those were worth $1.49.
All right. Hey, I hope our sponsors aren't offended by you winning prizes and then selling them for $1.49.
Well, if you gave better prizes, I'd make more than $1.49.
Well, maybe he doesn't want you to sell them. Maybe he thought you were, a collector of such things.
Oh, I am. I'm a collector of cash.
You got it.
Very good. Enjoying the show. Bye-bye.
You got your calendar, right, when you were here, right?
Fine.
Did you know? Now, I think Rod is waiting for his calendar. You have another one for Jack? Hey, Jack, if you're listening, you get a consolation prize. I'm not quite sure why, but Nate says he has another calendar for you. All you have to do is come to the studio and get it. Nate, what size is this thing? Oh, is it a giant calendar? For what year? Next year. 2015. Oh, so Jack, you're in luck. So I don't know what you've done to deserve this calendar. From Nathan E. Webster III, host of NASCAR Race Recap on WHAV. But apparently he's holding on to a 2015 calendar for you so that we don't have to. It's Danica. Oh, I believe you had requested that when you were hosting the show. Danica for Jack. Bevilacqua. Okay. All right. Well, this is what happens, folks. So if you sell a WHAV prize for more than $1.49, please let us know. All right. Let's see. We have another caller. Is it already in? I can't figure out Nate's hand signals.
It's on my side, line 2.
Oh, it's on your side. All right. So now Nate is completely in control of this call. You are on the Open Mic Show.
Oh, good evening, Tim.
Hi there. How are you?
I've been listening all summer, even though I haven't called in.
Well, last week might have been hard to because we had so many technical problems, I just gave up.
Well, actually, for a few weeks, you couldn't get any picture.
Oh, well, we have a whole new system.
I couldn't see the ties you had, but you have a very nice combination tonight.
Oh, do you like this?
I certainly do.
Oh, all right, because I expected a nasty remark from David, but I got a nasty one from Carolyn instead.
Oh, wow.
Oh, well, I'm trying
I called in for a birthday wish for Shirley, but you were talking to Jack, and I remember his birthday, September 27th, I think it is.
Really?
Yeah.
You would honor Jack, who sold one of his WHAV prizes for $1.49?
Yeah, we can throw him in the birthday pile.
All right. Actually, I got to make sure I get that Nate's attention. So you didn't mention that one to Nate, right?
No, I didn't even think of it till I heard Jack talking, and I remembered. He used to make me feel guilty for not getting him a cake.
Oh, okay.
Remember?
Hey, Nate, Marcel wants you to add Jack Bevilacqua's name to the birthday cake contest. All right. Isn't that nice? You know, Jack is such a feisty, actually one listener called him crabby person, but isn't that nice of you to put aside that? All right, so happy birthday, Jack, next month. All right, who else is on your list?
Oh, that's all I called in for. I mean, I got a whole list. There's too many.
Oh, you don't want to put in a few?
No, that's okay.
Oh, maybe we can try to find other birthday prizes to give every other week or something. But we were very happy to get LBD's second-generation Italian bakery. They've really stepped up, and we appreciate that. Hey, let me ask you a question, since I'm going to have two names over the next couple of weeks. One, you may have received your Wavelengths newsletter, but did you know Rocco Francesco, the stained glass maker?
I read it.
You did read it. Did you know him before
yes,
that?
I did. That was by email I got it. No, I'd never heard of him before.
Pretty interesting that this battle played out on a church's stained glass window, and we'll talk a little more about that. Now, here's another name. I wonder if you remember this. Joseph J. Durso.
No, I don't.
Former Haverhill alderman, former Haverhill city councilor, and he was a member of the Haverhill Sons of Italy Lodge. But he came to our attention when we had a retromercial from his run for state representative in the mid-1950s. But his nephew, I think it's his nephew or grandnephew, is going to call in next week and give us some more information about Joe Durso. But I have a kind of a sneaky trivia question. I wonder if there'll be any way anyone will be able to get this, because I don't think it's well known. But there is something in Haverhill named for Joseph J. Durso. Marcel, you want to be the first to take a crack at it?
I don't even begin to guess.
I doubt you'll find this online.
No, I wouldn't.
I mean, I wrote about this for the Haverhill Gazette about, 33 years ago. And the Gazettes are not digitized, so they're not available online. I noticed that another listener, Al Brenner, has put on something on Facebook trying to encourage either a grant or something to digitize old Haverhill Gazette newspapers. So then maybe some of this will be available. But
well, they are on microfilm.
Yes, and he's thinking that it might just be an easy task for someone with the right equipment to take the microfilm and convert them to scans. So that would be a good project for someone.
I didn't know you could do that.
Well, there must be a way. So, Marcel, you volunteered to spend 300 hours at the library scanning microfilm?
No way. No, I'm not a scanner. I'm a researcher.
Oh, okay. Are you teaching that course this fall?
Yeah. They didn't tell me. I just got the pamphlet in the mail.
All right, so might as well plug it before we go to news. So Marcel teaches an Intro to Genealogy course?
No, not that one. This is just a discussion group, but beginners are very welcome. We like to help them out.
Okay, it's a genealogical discussion group.
Yeah, sometimes I end up doing their whole family tree for them.
Oh, really?
Well, they're such beginners, and I feel so bad for them because they don't offer the beginners class anymore.
Oh, I see. So this is through what? The Cool Group at Northern Essex?
This is Lifelong Learning at Northern Essex.
Lifelong Learning. If someone wants to do some genealogical research, Marcel welcomes beginners. Frankly, that's how I got some of this information on Joseph J. Durso, looking up some genealogical resources. It's a hard word to say. All right. So, all right. Well, you do stay tuned, and thank you very much for watching. If you notice occasionally if you're watching on television in between, we found some new old photographs from WHAV, so we're flashing those off and on from time to time. All right. But anyway, thank you very much for your call, and thank you for your thoughtfulness.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye. Take care. All right, I don't even have controls. Nate, you've got to take that off there. All right, so we may as well go to news. Can that call that you have, can the caller wait? All right, if you could please bear with us. We're going to go to news, local weather, and Nathan E. Webster III's NASCAR race recap right after all this.
Open mic!
Tim Coco and the Open Mic will be right back. Get in on the action. Call 978-374-1900 or email tcoco@whav.net. If you are enjoying this program, please consider making a donation right now. Your donations to not-for-profit WHAV help keep these vital community services on the air. Donate online at www.whav.net.
It's 7:04.
WHAV Merrimack Valley. WHAV is a not-for-profit service of Public Media of New England Incorporated. It's heard on 1640 AM, the web, at whav.net, and participating cable television stations.
Feature Story News in Washington, I'm Rebecca Foster. An independent autopsy has revealed that black teenager Michael Brown, killed by police in the U.S. state of Missouri, was shot at least 6 times. Representatives for Michael Brown's family says the independent autopsy supports witness accounts, saying police shot Mr. Brown multiple times, and some shots were acquired while Mr. Brown's back was to police. The 18-year-old took 2 shots to the head and others to the right arm. Benjamin Crump, lead counsel for the Browns, says the family could not trust the initial autopsy done by police.
They did not want to be left having to rely on the autopsy done by the St. Louis law enforcement agencies, the same individuals they feel are responsible for executing their son in broad daylight.
Ukraine says a number of refugees were killed in a rocket and mortar attack on a moving convoy, which was making its way from the Luhansk area of eastern Ukraine. Ukraine pointed the finger at pro-Russian rebels, but they denied the attack, although reports say there was heavy gunfire in the area. Ukrainian forces have moved closer to the rebel-held town, where supplies are running out. Meanwhile, a Russian aid convoy headed for eastern Ukraine, which Kiev has blocked from crossing that border, remains at a standstill. U.S. State Department spokesperson Marie Harf said an agreement exists to inspect the convoy.
We understand there is an agreement that the aid will be inspected by Ukrainian border guards and customs officials before being transferred in batches to representatives of the ICRC. We also know that the ICRC has not yet received the required security guarantees from the Russian-supported separatists in Luhansk. It's also not clear whether the ICRC has received a detailed inventory list of the convoy's contents. So these are the kind of things that are holding up the aid right now. There's an agreement, but the details are still being worked.
Iraqi state and Kurdish Peshmerga forces have been fighting to reclaim the dam in Mosul from ISIS militants. The U.S. military has tried to help retake Mosul Dam, providing airstrikes. Although the Iraqi state says they have succeeded in their mission, those on the ground say the two sides are still exchanging fire. Meanwhile, as Erbil-based journalist Tracy Shelton reports, over 1 million displaced Iraqis continue to live in perilous situations.
They're sleeping in the streets, they're sleeping in schools, in parks, basically any spare space that they can find. Many of them aren't getting any aid at all. Nobody knows exactly where they are and how to even reach them to get the aid there. And plus there's such an overwhelming number that there hasn't been enough to go around.
For the rest of the day's news, you can follow us on Twitter at Feature Story or check out our website at featurestorynews.com. From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
Here's what's happening in local news. The Haverhill City Council could take action Tuesday night to approve the layout and establishment of the Bradford Rail Trail. On the council agenda, Mayor James J. Fiorentini is asking for approval of a layout map for the non-vehicular passageway between the Basileia Bridge and South Elm Street on the Bradford side of the Merrimack River. It has received a favorable recommendation from the Haverhill Planning Board after a public hearing held by that panel. The matter was postponed by the council at its previous meeting 2 weeks ago. Spending matters are also on the agenda, as councilors are being asked to approve bond authorizations for a $325,000 roof replacement project at the city's skating rink and $363,100 for additional design costs for a Route 97 improvement project. The Haverhill City Council meets at 7 p.m. Tuesday in council chambers at Haverhill City Hall. Police in Andover are warning the public of a new telephone scam. According to an Andover police spokesman, a person calls and tells victims a loved one has been kidnapped, is being held at gunpoint, before asking the victim to wire ransom money, usually via Western Union. The caller usually provides details about the person, such as name or hair color, often learning this information about the loved one on social media. However, the scam has also been reported where no personal information was given. Andover police advise several steps to avoid being victimized. They include asking the caller to speak with the relative they claim is being held, asking for specific details that can't be found online. Also, retain the phone number of the caller if possible, and call police immediately if you received such a call. In sports, WHAV's Nate Webster has this week's NASCAR race recap.
Jeff Gordon picks up his third win of the year and win number 227 for Hendrick Motorsports. He is now solidly locked into the chase for the Sprint Cup with just 4 races to go. Gordon says that he's happy the last 2 races came down to good restarts that have gone his way.
Extremely exciting. It wasn't an easy victory. Those restarts are so crucial but also intense here. An awesome effort all day to be in that position there at the end to have a shot at it. Pretty nice to have the last 2 wins come down to restarts.
Kyle Busch has trouble early hitting the wall in turn 1 in the first few laps. Jimmy Johnson has trouble in the pits when the 48 team had too many men over the wall trying to repair his gear shift. He rallies back to a top 10 finish. He and Ryan Newman exchange words after the race. Kyle Larson hits the wall hard on lap 97 after a right front tire goes down and his car catches on fire. The 14 of Jeff Burton, sitting in for Tony Stewart, had electrical issues when both batteries failed to kick in and had to get pushed behind the wall. For a race recap, I'm Nate Webster, WHAV Sports.
Remember, WHAV is the only Haverhill-based news source, and it's always free. In the Edwin V. Johnson newsroom, this is Dana Esmel.
Wave weather.
I'm WHAV meteorologist Rob St. Pierre with Wave Weather. Looks like we have clear skies for the nighttime hours and a temperature of 55. Yet another nice day for Tuesday. High pressure brings us not just lots of sun, but low humidity. It's going to be comfortable, high 75. Clear for Tuesday night, 56. More sunshine Wednesday with a few afternoon clouds and 77. Thursday's partly sunny, just a chance of a shower or thunderstorm, and a high of 75. I'm WHAV meteorologist Rob St. Pierre. Your next wave weather in 30 minutes.
Phil Christie here. Are you listening to WHAV on cable television? If so, join WHAV in thanking the board, staff, and members of your local public access channel.
WHAV, Merrimack Valley. Open mic.
From the Edwin B. Johnson Newsroom, WHAV presents the Open Mic Show with Tim Coco. Make your voice heard. Call 978-374-1900. That's 978-374-1900. Or email tcoco@whav.net.
Well, it's not Arthur Godfrey, I'll tell you that. So, this is Tim Coco. You're tuned to the Open Mic Show, a 50-year staple of democracy in the Merrimack Valley. Now, if you'll bear with me, this is one of the things that technology cannot fix is plugging in a headphone jack. So, I have to lean over here, plug it in, and now we have sound in my ear again. Okay, let's see. We had a few more comments, and I wonder, I guess you may have to refresh your screen to see new comments. So by hitting reload or refresh, we'll see what we have here. But a person named Gordon has used the message board at whav.tv, and he thinks that the plane crash in Riverside some years ago hit the house of Joseph J. Durso. Anyone else know if that's true or not? Let's see if it's here now. Let's see. The Durso's house was hit by the jet that crashed in Riverside. I wonder, does anyone else know if that's true? Not that we're questioning Gordon here. Well, I don't think that's his real name, but anyway. Now, let's see. David Goudswood has some comments. He says something is too easy. I cleaned that up a bit. Something is too easy. Is it the question about Joseph Durso and what is named after him? I'm going to add that to the trivia questions. And the first person who can answer that either this week or next week will take a pick of whichever one remains, or either or of these Trivial Pursuit mini packs. So that trivia question that I came up with, there is at least one place in Haverhill, one I'm thinking of anyway, in case there's more than one, that is named for Joseph J. Durso. Be the first person to answer that question, and you can take your pick from these Trivial Pursuit games given to us by Kimball Tavern Antiques, corner of Salem and South Main Streets in Bradford. And our friends at Kimball Tavern Antiques also provide another prize, a $10 gift certificate to the first person who can answer this question. Well, maybe David was referring to this one. Name the oldest bowling league in Haverhill. Name the oldest bowling league in Haverhill, and you can take home a $10 gift certificate, same as cash at Kimball Tavern Antiques. And just don't forget, you can win a birthday or anniversary cake, or a friend, a coworker, a neighbor, what have you, simply by calling the program 978-374-1900. Give us a September birthday or anniversary, and the name will be added to the hat. Hey, we do have a caller. You are on the Open Mic Show.
You talking to me?
Yes, I'm talking to you, sir.
Oh, that's great. I had 3 or 4 things I wanted to talk about. I don't know if you want to hear all 4 or not.
Oh, may I tell listeners who you are?
My name is Joe.
All right. I can give you more of a build-up if you like, Joe.
Oh, that's okay. That's fine.
You prefer to be anonymous?
Anonymous, yes, Joe. So let me tell you what the four things are, and you can limit it to 2 or 1 or 3 or all 4.
Okay.
One would be the methadone clinic, the new methadone clinic. Number 2 would be the police crackdown on public drinking at GAR Park as well as other places throughout the city. The next would be the spot that the city has chosen for a medical marijuana dispensary. And the fourth would be the state senator's race.
Oh, boy. You want my views on those items?
No, I just want to tell you my views on them. And
okay.
If you like.
Oh, good, because I was going to have to start taking notes. Okay. All right, so we'll start with methadone.
Methadone. Well, it's my understanding that it's a real success situation, that we've had a lot of people that were deeply involved in heroin and other drugs that have been going there for their treatments. And for the time being, anyway, recently they've stopped using the drugs. They're tested each time that they go in. If there's anything in their urine that relates to any drug other than the methadone, then they're banned from the clinic. And I know several people that have been going there, and they're just doing great. And they're so proud of themselves, and they're so pleased with what's happening. And it makes me feel happy, too, because most people don't know where it is. Excuse me, it's out of the way, and it's not a problem for the city.
All right.
I'm happy with that.
So this is the one that everyone was, well, not everyone, but quite a few people were worried about. You're saying it turns out it's nothing to worry about. In fact, it's been proving helpful to people.
It seems to be proving helpful to people. I don't see any issues myself, but that's my personal opinion on it, and I'm glad that it's there because if it can help 1 or 2 people that have this terrible affliction, it's great.
All right. And what was your next topic? Was that public drinking?
Yes, I heard recently that the Haverhill Police, and I give them a lot of credit for everything they do for our community, are going to crack down on public drinking at various spots throughout the city, which includes probably the biggest problem area is GAR Park.
Right in the center of the city.
Right in the center of the city. So I'm happy to hear that, and hopefully they will be successful in that. However, I don't want to see people excluded from there. There's a lot of homeless people that are down and out in the area that seem to congregate there during the daytime, and it gives them a place to go to. And actually, they don't spend as much time there in the winter as they do in the summer, and I think it's good that they're there, but they just have to stop things like public drinking and smoking marijuana, etc.
Okay, well, that's interesting. So I do know that if you listen to WHAV News with News Director Dana Esmel, there has certainly been an increase in arrests coming from that area. So maybe that's part of this crackdown.
Okay, so just clean it up a bit, but give everyone a chance to go there and enjoy the outdoors in the center of the city.
All right. Do you know what it was called before GAR Park? GAR Park?
No.
I believe it was City Hall Park. Someone, David Goudswood, our open mic show historian, can correct me on that.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I remember the old City Hall was there, Driscoll's was there. There's a lot of places there that were ripped down.
Yeah, maybe that's when the name changed. I don't know. All right. And your third item, was that medical marijuana?
Medical marijuana. They've chosen, selected the area in the industrial park, the retail park, too, where Target is and where Lowe's was, but not necessarily that general spot, but somewhere in that. I think it's called Technology Drive or something.
Oh, that's Computer Drive, where Wang started. Wow.
Right, where Wang started, and there's, I think they make suits there, Brooks Brothers suits are made there, etc. And it's in the country, and it'd be a good spot for it. I think if they needed to get supplies, since it's in the country like that, they might be able to grow their own marijuana and harvest it and put it in the storefront for sale.
Is that tongue-in-cheek?
Yes.
Okay.
But I think it's a very inintrusive spot to have something like that.
Actually, do you know if Hale Street is still among the options or no?
Hale Street? I don't know.
Okay.
That's the one that I heard the most of is up there at Computer Drive.
Okay, all right. And then you have a comment on the candidates for senator?
Yeah, I do. We have a good candidate from the city of Haverhill itself, and it's Sean Toohey. And one of Sean's biggest assets is the fact that his father-in-law is helping him with his campaign, and that's Bill Ryan. And I see Bill throughout the city. I've seen him in Salisbury. I've seen him down on the Seabrook line. There's signs in Amesbury. There's signs in Merrimack. And Bill's a good man. He's a real savvy politician. And not to take anything away from Sean, because he does have the credentials to serve us, and not to take anything away from our present state senator. She's very, very moderate, which I like. We need people in politics a little more moderate than what we have now. Republicans need to move towards the middle, towards the center, and the Democrats need to move towards the center. So Ives is doing a good job, and Sean, if he's elected, will do a great job too.
All right, and it would bring the seat back to Haverhill for the first time since Jake Rorak.
Yeah, sure.
All right, well, okay. We've had a couple of comments over the week, so this is helpful. We are in that time. People are beginning to realize summer is coming to an end and that the primary election is not that far away.
No, September what?
I don't have it in
soon.
front of me. I don't. Sean isn't contested for the Republican nomination.
No, and I don't think that Ives is contested either. I don't think either one of them are. So that.
Well, she does. She does have an opponent. Whether or not her opponent's going to make much, the fact that you haven't heard of her opponent maybe tells us an idea of how that's going to go.
Yeah, it's just gonna. If we can save the city a little bit of money by not having a big primary, that's okay. But I still respect the fact that anybody can run. Anyone should be able to run if they can get the signatures to get on the ballot.
All right. Now, you announcing your candidacy, sir?
No. I'm just running for my life. That's it.
All right. Hey, do you have a birthday or an anniversary in September? Or
No, I
someone
don't.
you know?
Your birthday's in September, isn't it?
Nope, not.
No?
Not me.
No, I have a birthday in November and an anniversary in December.
All right, so you need to call in October and November to enter those into the contest.
Oh, sure. Okay, I'll try to do that. Maybe I'll become a regular caller.
Oh, good. Well, we're certainly glad to hear from you. And actually, you raise some topics that we don't hear much about on this program, so that is very helpful. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
All right.
I like your show. I like your newscast. Everything's very, very good.
Well, we really appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Okay,
Right.
take care.
Take
Good
care.
night.
Bye. All right, we're going to take a brief break for Community Spotlight. It was certainly nice to hear from a new caller. Take a break for Community Spotlight. We'll be back with more of the Open Mic Show in just 1 minute.
Open mic.
Tim Coco and the Open Mic will be right back. Get in on the action. Call 978-374-1900 or email tcoco@whav.net. If you are enjoying this program, please consider making a donation right now. Your donations to not-for-profit WHAV help keep these vital community services on the air. Donate online at www.whav.net.
Phil Christie here. Still not sure when your favorite features are broadcast? Check out the What's On page at www.whav.net for complete listings.
Community Spotlight is brought to you by Haverhill Bank. Haverhill Bank is a generous supporter of the area's civic and cultural program.
All it takes is just one bank. Haverhill Bank. Community Spotlight.
Haverhill Rotary's 6th annual Rubber Duck Regatta will take place on Saturday, September 6th at Haverhill's River Ruckus in downtown. Duck adoption papers are available at the Citizen Center, 10 Welcome Street. Ducks are $5 each with discount prices for multiple purchases. Early bird prices are available. Contact Kathy Bresnahan at the Citizen Center at 978-374-2390 for details. someone you know is on WHAV. To submit or read your own nonprofit announcements, click on the Contact tab at WHAV.net or email news@WHAV.net. In the Edwin V. Johnson Newsroom, this is Nate Webster.
WHAV Open Mic.
From the Edwin V. Johnson Newsroom, WHAV presents the Open Mic Show with Tim Coco. Make your voice heard. Call 978-374-1900. That's 978-374-1900. Or email tcoco@whav.net.
Welcome back to the Open Mic Show. All right, the comment board seems to be working. I'm going to throw out a suggestion. If those of you who are on the comment board below the TV screen at WHAV.net, you may have to refresh or reload the page to see the newer comments. So this is something we're learning. A couple of those historical oddities we were talking about, I haven't heard anyone confirm Gordon's post that Joseph Durso's house was the one that was hit by the jet that crashed in Riverside some years ago. What was that, Lackey Street? I wonder if someone has anything on that to confirm that. And then David Goudswood, Open Mic Show historian, says it appears that City Hall Park was the name of that park was changed after City Hall was demolished. So I guess that makes sense. That's when it became GAR Park. Anyone else have a thought on that? So meanwhile, let's go to the phones. I don't have a red light. Is it on your side? Oh. See, I hate when I'm at Nate's whatever here. Okay, so Nate has to put through calls on line 2. Let's hear the caller.
No. I got some information for you.
Oh, good. How are you? By the way, I'm sorry last week we ended the show rather abruptly thanks to technical problems.
I didn't know you even started it because I tried to call. I was a little late, and you were already gone.
All right. Well, it was one of those weeks where we thought it may as well give up.
Uh-huh.
So it's very rare that we can't keep up with the show, but it just seemed like everything went wrong that could go wrong, including the fact that I couldn't hear anybody in my headphones.
Oh, you couldn't?
No. So if you heard a loud crash at any point, it was my throwing the headphones into the pile at the end of the desk. But anyway, all right.
I got a couple of birthdays to get out of the way first.
Okay, let's hear those.
And one of those is Kelly.
Kelly.
And the other one is Jordan.
Kelly and Jordan.
And I know that Jordan's mother is listening right now as I speak.
Happy birthday, Kelly, and happy birthday, Jordan. Are Kelly and Jordan related?
No.
All right.
Not at all.
This is the man with the biggest black book in history. Always calling with these women's names, giving them birthday cakes.
Well, this Jordan is a little boy, so.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. All right. Well, your record is broken now.
Well.
Jordan. Okay. So happy birthday, Jordan.
I'm sure he'd like that cake.
All right. It's a 7-inch cake. Choice of chocolate or vanilla. Sugar frosting. 7 inches from LBD's second-generation Italian bakery, 140 South Main Street.
Yeah, right across from Dr. O'Berty.
Dr. O'Berty, okay. So the if Jordan or Kelly win, we'll draw the name the last Monday of the month, which is what, next week?
Yeah, and I got more birthdays, but there was no time because there were so many. You said, think about it, and I did.
Oh, well.
There's just not enough time to put all the names in, so I'll call back next week with those.
How many do you have?
I got 2 more.
All right.
Birthdays and 1 anniversary.
Try to call in early because we'll draw the name at 8:15 sharp.
Okay.
All right. So while I have you, because you're sort of a historian too, do you...
Wait, not always correct, but no. I am correct, I think, about GAR Park was called that long before the City Hall was torn down.
Oh, was it? Okay.
I grew up calling it GAR. GAR, but you got to stop and say GAR.
That's right.
Otherwise, it all runs together.
And what does GAR stand for?
Grand Army Republic.
Very good, very good. Okay, so you think that I kind of thought that name was out there longer too, but it seemed like it made sense that it would go away at least after City Hall did.
Right. Well, see, the City Hall was torn down when? 73?
Around that time.
Yeah.
Trying to think when were they in the high school? I don't know if you ever City Hall moved into the high school, the old high school, before it was even renovated.
Yep.
So if that's a kind of one of my memories is going into that building, and it was pretty run down. Not that it didn't look like that again later, but it was basically the old high school with all of this old furniture from old City Hall thrown in places. And if you look in the City Council office on the second floor, where they really don't let you go in much, but the City Council office still has all the old metal desks from old City Hall.
Yeah, and room 301, too. Doesn't that also have a bunch of the old things? I'm not sure now, but...
Actually, it's funny. I think room 301 now has some newer furnishings, but if I'm thinking of what you're thinking of, there were like these wooden folding chairs up there.
Yeah.
Oh.
So, yeah.
Oh, God. So it's funny how you bring back those memories. I forgot about those old wooden chairs. About the only room that really looked different after the renovation, other than the horrible ceilings throughout the building, the only room that really looked different was City Council chambers. I don't know what room in the high school that was.
No, I don't either.
But anyway. All right, then. So thank you for your input on that question.
I have more.
You have more.
Well, you were talking about Joseph Durso. Now, little aside there, he went to school with my father.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, so I guess he'd be about the same age as he, born in 1908. And Mr. Durso was very involved with St. James Parish. And I also remember Joseph Durso being a neighbor of the Sisters of St. Joseph in their mansion up on Westland Terrace. And that's where he lived, not in Riverside. He lived on Westland Terrace.
Oh, Westland Terrace.
Yep.
Okay, so Gordon doesn't have that quite right.
And the name of the family who owned that house that was destroyed and 2 children were killed, the name was Gifford.
Oh, okay. Gifford was in Riverside.
Right, on Lackey Street.
Okay,
I remember that particular thing took place June 30th, 1964.
Wow, okay. I remembered it was Lackey. Okay, well, I have to be careful then about some of these news sources on our chat board. Sorry, Gordon. Okay.
Oh, Gordon wrote that?
Yes.
Well, just so that you know, that's it, because we get a lot of people, as you know, on the group on Facebook. You know you're from Haverhill when.
That's right.
Plus other groups that have Haverhill as a focus. And there's a lot of information out there.
All right, not all of it correct,
back and forth. Not all of it's correct, but we talk about it.
Actually, no, I have to say, what I sort of like the You're From Haverhill When site is almost peer reviewed, because so many people look at it that if there's any errors, they're usually caught right away.
Right.
Okay, actually, someone says I have an email on that, so I'll look at that after the. I'll look at that during the weather. All right. What else is on your mind?
Oh, gee, that's about it.
You want to take another stab at the oldest bowling league in Haverhill?
No, I couldn't begin to guess. You don't want to get me started on bowling, do you?
Oh, well, I think that contest, what did it take us, 6 months to get an answer to how many bowling alleys there were?
I gave it to you within the 2 weeks.
You gave it to me within 2 weeks, and our judges weren't sure.
What can I say?
I know. You're I don't know what it is. The systems work against you for some reason.
I guess. I don't know.
All right. Well, thank you very much for your call.
Okay, Tim, and I'll be calling next week.
All right. And happy birthday, Kelly, and happy birthday, Jordan.
All right.
All right. Take care.
You take care, too.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right, so more names in the hat for the birthday anniversary cake contest. We'll draw those next week, next Monday night at 8:15. Maybe between now and then we're actually going to catch up on the backlog of other prizes to be mailed and delivered and picked up and so on. We're going to take a brief break for WHAV weather. When we come back, we'll continue to talk about oddities in local history. We'll go through some more prize options and take your telephone calls, 978-374-1900. We'll be right back.
Open mic!
Tim Coco and the Open Mic will be right back. Get in on the action. Call 978-374-1900 or email tcoco@whav.net. If you are enjoying this program, please consider making a donation right now. Your donations to not-for-profit WHAV help keep these vital community services on the air. Donate online at www.whav.net.
It's 7:36.
When local news breaks, the wave is there. Soft gold. WHAV.
Catch the wave!
Melinda's Garden Moments help gardeners create and maintain a healthy, beautiful garden with ease, inside or out and all year long. This is Melinda Myers, inviting you to tune in every weekday morning, right here on WHAV. You'll learn creative ways to grow your own vegetables and herbs while beautifying your landscape. Eco-friendly lawn care, flower garden design basics, unique container gardens, attracting birds and butterflies to the landscape, and much more. Again, please join me weekday mornings for Melinda's Garden Moment for a very environmentally friendly approach to gardening. Remember, only local radio can bring you this feature opportunity, but only WHAV does.
Wave weather!
I'm WHAV meteorologist Rob St. Pierre with WAVE weather. Looks like we have clear skies for the nighttime hours and a temperature of 55. Yet another nice day for Tuesday. High pressure brings us not just lots of sun, but low humidity. It's going to be comfortable, high 75. Clear for Tuesday night, 56. More sunshine Wednesday with a few afternoon clouds and 77. Thursday's partly sunny, just a chance of a shower or thunderstorm, and a high of 75. I'm WHAV meteorologist Rob St. Pierre. Your next WAVE weather in 30 minutes.
WHAV Open Mic.
From the Edwin B. Johnson Newsroom, WHAV presents the Open Mic Show with Tim Coco. Make your voice heard. Call 978-374-1900. That's 978-374-1900. Or email tcoco@whav.net.
Welcome back to the Open Mic Show, a 50-year staple of democracy in the Merrimack Valley. Actually, I was predicting not many calls tonight because it's such a nice late afternoon, early evening, but they are coming in. And our caller earlier kind of kicked off some campaign talk, saying that he favors Sean Toohey for state senator, but doesn't think the incumbent state senator Ives is doing all that poorly. And now we have another caller who has yet another opinion. You are on the Open Mic Show.
Hi, Tim. Thanks for taking my call. I wanted to talk about the race between Ives and Bill Bryan. Sean Toohey.
Okay.
I don't know how I made that mistake. I'm sorry.
All right. We have a little room for levity here. Go on.
Glad you caught that. Yes, I too have seen Bill Ryan all over the place. He's renewed vigor. Where would Sean be without him? The caller mentioned, Sean has credentials, and I wanted to ask, what credentials does Sean Toohey have?
Well, he is an elected official. I don't.
I mean, Tim, credentials. For example, has he started? Is there a program in the Haverhill schools that can carry his name? A reading program, perhaps, or some parent program he developed? Or
I'm wondering
what.
Yeah, I guess I don't know. Okay.
Does he have a master's degree?
All right. Let me ask you this. I think you may have called before. Do you? Is there a particular candidate you are favoring?
Well, I look at Ives and I look at Toohey, and there's just no comparison. I'm saddened that the Republicans keep giving us people who I don't want to say are unqualified, but I can't think of anything else. They have people who have very few credentials. Their main mantra is no new taxes. That's about all they say, and that's about all that Sean Toohey says. And it's disturbing. It's irresponsible, but it seems to sell.
2 years ago, Sam Mees ran in the primary on the Republican side. What did you think of Sam?
I didn't follow Sam that closely, but I remember hearing much of the same from all the Republican candidates, which is essentially no new taxes. It's a mantra. And I don't understand why that becomes their sole purpose, especially here in the Northeast. They're a little more progressive than what we get, in the Midwest, where we have Tea Partiers and Republicans who don't think a raped woman can get pregnant. So while Sean is, considered moderate,
just in case, I'm thinking we have an informed listener base, but just in case, the reference there is I can't remember, but a Republican who said women can shut all that down, or something to that effect.
Yeah,
about
essentially, he said when women get pregnant, if a woman is raped, her body will release, a hormone and shut down a possible pregnancy.
Yeah, kind of weird science. Okay.
Well, there's a lot of that on the Republican side, but Sean, I don't think thinks in those terms. But he's going to be appealing to those people who are here in the Merrimack Valley. I wish he wouldn't, but I'm sure he's going to. But I want to get back to Sean and his credentials. When I see people running for leadership positions politically, it's disturbing that they don't have the credentials needed to be in these leadership positions, yet they can get in because they present a very simplistic, I want to say simple-minded message, and Sean is doing that. I think is well, that's what's happening, and it's really sad. Of course, there's no comparison between him and Ives. Ives is a very, very smart lady. She's got, I think, 2 degrees, a law degree, environmental policy degree, something of that sort. These are the kinds of people we need representing us, not someone like Sean Toohey.
What do you think of the other Democrat in the race, Jessica Finicaro from Methuen?
I think she's got a great future. She's young. I think this is the first time she's put herself forward. She's got a good future. I think she's probably a little to the left of Ives. But that's all I can tell you about her. I don't know a lot about her.
Yeah, one of the things that I'm kind of disappointed by, and I guess we can look inward as well here, and that is that in the old days, when there were people running for local office, there would be stories every day in the paper. And maybe every day on the air, and maybe we need to look inward on fixing that ourselves.
Well, I think I know where you're going. I think we have, at best, 25% of the voting population in Haverhill will even turn out for a vote, and in primaries even less. And that's the fault of what we have of the inept political committees, both Republican and Democrat in Haverhill, that do so little to encourage voting. There's very few voter registration drives. There's very little interest that gets going. And if your local politicians are not going to be the ones behind that, then who is?
No, that's an interesting point. Although I wonder if, let's see, I do know that the Democratic City Committee sent out something, I think it was actually mostly an internal document about an upcoming breakfast fundraiser.
Yeah, that goes on. That's a perennial deal. I haven't received anything in the mail from a Republican or Democrat. About
that's an
what's
interesting
going
question.
On in the city
Do the
in terms of
Republicans,
elections or local stuff for years?
the Republican City Committee, do they have events?
Again, we're looking at these city committees, which are nothing more than people who want to get their pictures taken with the local politicians. These combined committees must have, 50 people on combined. You put these two committees together. If those people were out there on even a weekly basis, encouraging people to vote or doing voter drives, voter registration drives, things could change in Haverhill. But where are they? They're nowhere to be found.
That's an interesting.
They're just nowhere to be found.
That's an interesting question. Are you involved in any service clubs or other groups like that?
Been there, done that.
Because I'm finding, I look at the Rotary Club, the Exchange Club.
Oh, the Rotary Club.
What's that?
Been there, done that.
Yeah, I'm just wondering because I don't think any group is attracting younger, energetic people. I wonder why that is.
Well, I think I just gave you part of the answer.
Apathy?
Part of the answer is that we have relatively inept committees that just don't go out there with the same faces, the same people, year in, year out. That's one of the big problems with Haverhill. I've been here for 26 years, and I expect when I came here, I said, wow, this city's got nowhere to go but up. And all I see now are roast beef and pizza on every corner.
Maybe that's an improvement, because a couple of years ago it was nail salons.
That's an improvement in Haverhill.
It was nail salons, right?
Well, there was an improvement when we got Susan Dennehy on the school committee. We had Bob Gilman. Was it Bob? Is that his first name?
I miss Bob. He gave up.
We had really intelligent people. Magliacetti's a bright guy. The mayor has a law degree, smart man. And then we got Wood and Toohey. Anyway, I'm going to leave you with that. Good luck.
All right, we'll
Great
provide
show.
equal
Bye-bye.
time. Thanks so much. Take care. Equal time, anyone, 978-374-1900. We are having some discussions of substance tonight. I'm very appreciative. One of the earlier callers talked about 4 topics of the methadone clinic. He thought that was not as bad as everyone thought. About public drinking in GAR Park, which police are cracking down on. Medical marijuana facility near the Target store off Route 97. He thought that was a good location. And then he raised what may have kicked off the political floodgates, his support of Sean Toohey for senator. And then we got this call questioning Sean's credentials. So let's open lines. If we work in some local history, we will. But these are the timely topics that help us decide how our democracy is going to go. So your calls are welcome. We're going to take a brief break. I believe this hour we have a movie review coming up, real short, and then we'll be back with the Open Mic Show.
Open Mic!
Tim Coco and the Open Mic will be right back. Get in on the action. Call 978-374-1900 or email tcoco@whav.net. If you are enjoying this program, please consider making a donation right now. Your donations to not-for-profit WHAV help keep these vital community services on the air. Donate online at www.whav.net.
Your donations enable WHAV to remain local and independent. Consider giving what you can afford at WHAV.net.
Merrimack Valley Happenings is your weekly guide to economic news and cultural events. It's a quick read about local business, the economy, and higher education. It also features an all-in-one calendar of business, cultural, and recreational events. View Merrimack Valley Happenings online or sign up for a weekly email at merrimackvalley.info.
Catch the wave!
The most trusted man in America, news anchor Walter Cronkite, once said, "It is absolutely essential in a democracy to have competition in the media, a lot of competition." That sentiment is one of the driving forces behind WHAV's expanded local news effort. This is News Director Dana Esmel inviting you to listen to my hourly weekday newscasts right here on WHAV. You'll also find the area's most comprehensive local news reporting at WHAV.net on your computer or smartphone. Remember, WHAV is the only Haverhill-based news source, and it's always free.
And that's the way it is.
This is Take Two Movie Review. I'm Kim Lowe. This week, taking a trip to a galaxy full of fun times and surprisingly warm moments. It seems that nearly every comic ever put out by Marvel has made its way to the big screen or is heading that way in the not-so-distant future. The lesser-known Guardians of the Galaxy is no exception to that trend and follows the adventures of Peter Quill, a.k.a. Star-Lord, who along with a band of random misfits sets out to save the universe from an evil villain bent on destroying it. While the plot certainly isn't that original, and more than a few have pointed out that it bears more than a passing similarity to another well-known summer science fiction movie from nearly 40 years ago called Star Wars, the movie is surprisingly funny with unexpected touches of humor and wit. One of the most notable is the character of Rocket, a genetically modified raccoon voiced by Bradley Cooper, who nearly steals the show with his one-liners. However, it's the non-CGI lead, Chris Pratt, who was the real reason to watch this. Pratt, who is best known to audiences for his work on the TV show Parks and Recreation, shows that he really can act. He has great delivery and a charisma that makes him and his character memorable. In the wrong hands, Peter Quill could easily have all the dimension of a cardboard cutout, but somehow Pratt gives him an unexpected level of depth. With that said, neither Pratt nor the movie for that matter ever takes the material too seriously, which is a good thing. For my money, Guardians of the Galaxy is the best high-action, fun movie of the summer. Watch it on the big screen before it leaves this galaxy and heads to DVD. This has been Take Two Movie Review. I'm Kim Lowe. Catch up with us at TakeTwoMovieReview.com and follow us on Facebook and Twitter at Take2_Review.
WHAV Open Mic.
From the Edwin V. Johnson Newsroom, WHAV presents the Open Mic Show with Tim Coco. Make your voice heard. Call 978-374-1900. That's 978-374-1900. Or email tcoco@whav.net.
And it's not Don McNeil either. Anyone catching my two references tonight, Arthur Godfrey and Don McNeil? Arthur Godfrey had Arthur Godfrey Time on CBS Radio, and on ABC Radio was Don McNeil's Breakfast Club. Well, this is neither breakfast nor one of those networks, but trying to throw in a little something to stir people's memories. And I have to say, Brian did stir mine. I do remember those old rows of wooden seats in room 301 on the top floor of City Hall, the old high school. And I hadn't thought about those, but I do think those are finally gone. I wonder where they went. Maybe Jack somehow bought them at a surplus auction, is getting $1.49 for them. I don't know. All right, but a good discussions tonight. Feel free to keep those going. Let's run through the prizes that are still available. If you would like to visit, absolutely free of charge, the John Greenleaf Whittier birthplace, that's at 305 Whittier Road, off Route 110 on the way to Merrimack in Haverhill. All you have to do is be the first one to ask. We'll give you free admission to the John Greenleaf Whittier birthplace. Then we have this question from our good friends at Kimball Tavern Antiques at the corner of Salem and South Main Streets in Bradford. Kimball Tavern, of course, as you may know, was the birthplace of Bradford College. Anyway, here's a question. Name the oldest bowling league in Haverhill. Can you name the oldest bowling league in Haverhill? If you do, you're the first one. You'll receive a $10 gift certificate to use at Kimball Tavern Antiques on just about anything you like. Then we have a question that David Goudswood submitted, and we'll offer you one of these Trivial Pursuit, like a pocket game, mini pack of cards. Trivial Pursuit questions. And the choices are War and Victory or Flicks. Again, these prizes also came from Kimball Tavern Antiques. They're in shrink wrap. We call them kind of new old stock. So they're brand new games. All you have to do is answer this question posed by the Open Mic Show historian David Godswood. Rob Zombie, famous Haverhillite, complained in a Rolling Stone interview that there was nothing for him to do when he was growing up in Haverhill. He and his friends decided to play football in a rather unusual location. If you can name that location, take a guess. Try it out. You'll win one of these two. We'll let you pick which one for Trivial Pursuit games. And let's see. Of course, there's birthday cakes and anniversary cakes. If you know someone who's having a birthday or a couple having an anniversary in September, you have one more week, tonight and next week before 8:15, to get in the nominees. We'll put the name in the hat, and the winner will be able to receive a free 7-inch cake from LBD's second-generation Italian bakery, 140 South Main Street in Bradford. And again, this is quite a treat. If you win, we'll send you a letter from WHAV, but you'll have a choice of vanilla or chocolate. And just give them a call with your letter so they can bake the cake fresh, and then you can go pick it up, present the letter as proof, and it's all yours. Happy birthday or happy anniversary. All right, let's go through some of our... Well, let's go go through some late-breaking news just before the show started. Market Basket has a fish or seafood vendor, Boston Sword and Tuna, that is now refusing to provide any more fish to Market Basket under their current leadership. Michael Scola, let's see, and there's another person's name here. Last name is Malley. I can't find the first name. In any event, they say that things are so chaotic under the new management at Market Basket that they haven't been paid, and they provide up to 50,000 pounds of seafood to Market Basket. So they're not going to make any more deliveries until until RDT is back at the helm of the company. All right, what do you think of that? And then there was another item in the news, and that was... I forgot what that was. Oh, Governor Deval Patrick of Massachusetts and Maggie Hassan of New Hampshire are both pushing the two authors to cut a deal. Governor Patrick says the issue is no longer about money, if it ever was. It's about other terms, but a solution is within reach, a spokeswoman for Governor Patrick said, according to the Boston Globe. The Boston Globe wrote the negotiations included the two feuding cousins at the center of the dispute, Arthur T. and Arthur S. Timulis, as well as board chairman Keith Cowan and Tina Albright, representing one of the shareholders, according to the statement from the governor. All right. Customers and protesters alike have sort of questioned the governor's involvement in this, since the governor's wife works for the law firm that represents Arthur S. Now, whether she works directly on this case or not, let's be fair, we don't know. Anyone who does know for sure, feel free to give us a call, 978-374-1900. And I suppose Nate wants me to remind you, and I suppose it's not a bad idea, we do have some new members. You know, I never know. I think we should add a checkbox to the membership box. So we don't mind giving people credit on the air, but I don't know if they want it or they'd rather be anonymous. We may ask people, but there are some new members of WHAV, and you know, it's not a bad time for you to become a member. We're hoping early fall the Federal Communications Commission will make a decision on WHAV's license application for a new FM station at 98.1. It would be the only FM station actually licensed to Haverhill. Now, you may say, well, gee, there's another station here. Well, technically, that station is licensed to Andover. Nothing against anybody, but Haverhill was a city that had a pioneer FM back in 1948. It was closed, reopened in 59, and then has since had a change of city. There's a word for that. The city of license has been changed to Andover. So if you want to support the expanded news operation of WHAV and the soon, we hope, better delivery methods on FM, now's your time to become a WHAV member. For just $25 or more, you can receive a bumper sticker, subscription to WHAV publications by email, and a bumper sticker, among other benefits. If you're a student or a senior citizen, same benefits, price drops to just $10. And, of course, there are other benefits. Go to WHAV.net to learn more. We're going to take a break for news, weather, and NASCAR race recap with our own Nate Webster. And we'll be back after that.
Open mic!
Tim Coco and the Open Mic will be right back. Get in on the action. Call 978-374-1900 or email tcoco@whav.net. If you are enjoying this program, please consider making a donation right now. Your donations to not-for-profit WHAV help keep these vital community services on the air. Donate online at www.whav.net.
It's 8:02.
WHAV Merrimack Valley. WHAV is a not-for-profit service of Public Media of New England Incorporated. It's heard on 1640 AM, the web, at whav.net, and participating cable television stations.
Feature story news in Washington. I'm Rebecca Foster. An independent autopsy has revealed that black teenager Michael Brown, killed by police in the U.S. state of Missouri, was shot at least 6 times. Representatives for Michael Brown's family says the independent autopsy supports witness accounts, saying police shot Mr. Brown multiple times, and some shots were acquired while Mr. Brown's back was to police. The 18-year-old took 2 shots to the head and others to the right arm. Benjamin Crump, lead counsel for the Browns, says the family could not trust the initial autopsy done by police.
They did not want to be left having to rely on the autopsy done by the St. Louis law enforcement agencies, the same individuals they feel are responsible for executing their son in broad daylight.
Ukraine says a number of refugees were killed in a rocket and mortar attack on a moving convoy, which was making its way from the Luhansk area of eastern Ukraine. Ukraine pointed the finger at pro-Russian rebels, but they denied the attack, although reports say there was heavy gunfire in the area. Ukrainian forces have moved closer to the rebel-held town, where supplies are running out. Meanwhile, a Russian aid convoy headed for eastern Ukraine, which Kiev has blocked from crossing that border, remains at a standstill. U.S. State Department spokesperson Marie Harf said an agreement exists to inspect the convoy.
We understand there is an agreement that the aid will be inspected by Ukrainian border guards and customs officials before being transferred in batches to representatives of the ICRC. We also know that the ICRC has not yet received the required security guarantees from the Russian-supported separatists in Luhansk. It's also not clear whether the ICRC has received a detailed inventory list of the convoy's contents. So these are the kind of things that are holding up the aid right now. There's an agreement, but the details are still being worked.
Iraqi state and Kurdish Peshmerga forces have been fighting to reclaim the dam in Mosul from ISIS militants. The U.S. military has tried to help retake Mosul Dam, providing airstrikes. Although the Iraqi state says they have succeeded in their mission, those on the ground say the two sides are still exchanging fire. Meanwhile, as Erbil-based journalist Tracy Shelton reports, over 1 million displaced Iraqis continue to live in perilous situations.
They're sleeping in the streets, they're sleeping in schools, in parks, basically any spare space that they can find. Many of them aren't getting any aid at all. Nobody knows exactly where they are and how to even reach them to get the aid there. And plus there's such an overwhelming number that there hasn't been enough to go around.
For the rest of the day's news, you can follow us on Twitter at Feature Story or check out our website at featurestorynews.com. From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
Here's what's happening in local news. Haverhill, Methuen, and other gateway cities stand to benefit from a law signed by Governor Deval Patrick. An act to promote economic growth in the Commonwealth provides $15 million for the Gateway Cities Transformative Development Fund that allows the state to directly invest in development projects, provide technical assistance, and support the creation of shared office space that encourage interactions among tenants. Another $10 million is included to pay for environment cleanup and reuse of contaminated properties. Northern Essex Community College and Whittier Regional Vocational Technical High School could benefit from $12 million set aside for training in advanced manufacturing and mechanical and technical skills. A Lawrence man accused of drunk driving is due to be arraigned in Haverhill District Court after his arrest overnight. Haverhill police report 25-year-old John M. Delahaz of Lawrence was also charged with malicious destruction of property. He was taken into custody at 1:12 a.m. today at 127 South Elm Street. An investigation is ongoing. An investigation by Haverhill police early Sunday morning leads to the arrest of a local man on motor vehicle and assault charges. Police report 36-year-old Justin P. Walsh of Haverhill was charged with use of a motor vehicle without authority, operating a motor vehicle after license revocation, assault with a dangerous weapon, and intimidating a witness. The arrest occurred at 4 a.m. Sunday on Lafayette Street. He is due to be arraigned in Haverhill District Court. In sports, WHAV's Nate Webster has this week's NASCAR race recap.
Sunday's Pure Michigan 400 at Michigan International Speedway saw some chase hopefuls' dreams dashed when they suffered bad restarts, right front tire issues, spinouts, catching on fire, and a broken stick shift. And that was in the first 100 laps. Jeff Gordon was your race winner. He picks up his third win of the year and his 91st win of his career. Third place Joey Logano said that there were just one too many restarts to his liking. He had Jeff Gordon beat, except for that last one.
Just restart after restart after restart, and I won every single restart. I was on the front row except the last one, and here I am. It's kind of frustrating, but almost had him there, and I just kind of rode around in fourth there, hoping for a restart, because the fourth spot is where you want to be, and then realize we're not going to get the restart and try to go for third from there.
The 41 of Kurt Busch hits the wall with just 27 laps to go, racing Jeff Gordon, Joey Logano, and Paul Menard for the race lead. Denny Kirkpatrick spins on lap 25 and collects 6 other drivers with her for the third caution of the day. With just 4 races to go until the chase, the Busch brothers, Denny Hamlin, A.J. Allmendinger, and Eric Almirola, have to start the next 3 races, and they will be entered into the big show in Homestead, Florida. Nate Webster, WHAV Sports.
Remember, WHAV is the only Haverhill-based news source, and it's always free. In the Edwin V. Johnson newsroom, this is Dana Esmel.
WAVE weather.
I'm WHAV meteorologist Rob St. Pierre with WAVE weather. Looks like we have clear skies for the nighttime hours and a temperature of 55. Yet another nice day for Tuesday. High pressure brings us not just lots of sun, but low humidity. It's going to be comfortable. High 75. Clear for Tuesday night, 56. More sunshine Wednesday with a few afternoon clouds and 77. Thursday's partly sunny, just a chance of a shower or thunderstorm, and a high of 75. I'm WHAV meteorologist Rob St. Pierre. Your next WAVE weather in 30 minutes.
This is Phil Christie. Would you like to hear the wave on your stereo, or even better, anywhere in your home? Check out the tips for better sound at www.whav.net.
WHAV, Merrimack Valley, open mic.
From the Edwin V. Johnson Newsroom, WHAV presents the Open Mic Show with Tim Coco. Make your voice heard. Call 978-374-1900. That's 978-374-1900. Or email tcoco@whav.net.
Welcome back to the Open Mic Show, a 50-year staple of democracy in the Merrimack Valley. I'm Tim Coco. Nathan E. Webster III is in master control. If you want to hear his thoughts about new safety rules at NASCAR, go to WHAV.net. You'll find at the new WHAV.net website the most comprehensive amount of local news, plus things like Nate Webster's NASCAR reports and his commentary this week. So why don't you check that out? Incidentally, we have a kind of a slogan for the news department. This is the only Haverhill-based news source, and it's always free. Check it out at WHAV.net. Now, why are both of those two items important? Well, one, the Haverhill Gazette had been located in Haverhill since it was founded in 1821. It gradually merged, within recent years with the Eagle Tribune, and the Eagle Tribune had an office downtown. Haverhill Gazette joined it there. Now there is no Haverhill Gazette and no Eagle Tribune office in the city. WHAV is the only Haverhill-based news source left. And when we say it's always free, other media have done so-called paywalls, where maybe you can read 5 or 10 news stories before you're cut off. WHAV.net is always free. There may be some bonus features that members get, but otherwise, all the news is there, and it's always free. Check that out. So Nate's report should be up, and we'll do that. Now, a recent feature of WHAV News is the Wavelengths newsletter. It's not that recent. I think it's been out for 61 issues. But we had a recent feature on Francesco Rocco. He had a stained glass studio in downtown Haverhill. Now, we have reports that there was an earlier one on Kent Street, but most people seem to remember the studio at 23 Water Street, roughly where the big 1 Water Street building is now. That takes up several of the old city blocks before urban renewal. Now, Francesco Rocco, and Nate will put up a photograph of him in his studio. He had an interesting history, apparently studied under another famous stained glass maker, the name of Charles Connick. And those of you who read the Wavelengths newsletter, you might find this interesting. If you haven't, you might want to go and take a look at it. But Connick was taking business away from Francesco Rocco right in his own hometown. The Connick Studios put in stained glass windows in the what is now the Unitarian Universalist Church. It was the first Universalist church. And they also put in windows at the new Education Center of the First Baptist Church on Main Street in the 1950s. In any event, let's go to the punchline before we run out of time. Around 1960, Rocco was commissioned to assemble the Eucharist windows to the left and right of 2 1947 windows at the Universalist Church. Rocco's design featured amber chalices with either grapes or yellow stalks of wheat on translucent glass. While working on the new windows, Rocco was asked to repair a crack across the head of one of the figures in windows that Connick's studio put in 1923. The local craftsman made the repair, but worked in a wisecrack. The original prayer on the window said, "Be of good courage, and he shall strengthen your head, your heart, all ye that hope in the Lord." Well, yes, Rocco changed heart to head when he fixed the crack, and that exists even today. Rocco died in Merrimack, December 1970, at the age of 69, and that was 25 years after Connick's death. But famous stained glass maker, and I don't know if he had any international renown, notoriety perhaps, if he did, he might, Francesco Rocco might well be a candidate for the Haverhill Citizens Hall of Fame. I do have a conflict of interest. I am vice president of that group. But nevertheless, I may raise this at a meeting next week because his work is known throughout the nation, at least. So there's another name there. Maybe you have some thoughts on people who belong in the Haverhill Citizens Hall of Fame. Feel free to call 978-374-1900. Next week, we have, hopefully by telephone, a nephew or grandnephew of Joseph J. Durso, John Ranieri, if I'm saying that correct. He had posted a photograph of Joe Durso with a campaign sign for city council. He posted this on a Facebook page, You Know You're From Haverhill When. Coincidentally or not, the WHAV had audio from Joe Durso's run in the mid-1950s, apparently unsuccessfully, for state representative. We've since compiled some information, and I have this kind of trivia question to tease that interview with. There is at least one location in Haverhill named for the former and late city councilor Joseph Durso. You can tell me what that location is. You can take your pick of one of these two Trivial Pursuit games. And of course, we also have birthday cakes, anniversary cakes for the month of September. Call in a birthday wish or an anniversary wish for someone who's celebrating in September. We'll take the recipient's name, put it in the hat, and we'll make that drawing next week at 8:15. Those of you who are waiting for prizes, we are trying to catch up, and we'll try to get all those out in the next few days. David Goudsworth had a question. Rob Zombie of Haverhill, famous Haverhillite, in a Rolling Stone interview, said he was pretty bored growing up in Haverhill. There wasn't much to do in the post-urban renewal debacle. So he and his friends played football in a rather unusual location. Be the first person to answer that question. Take a guess. Someone's going to get it. Can choose between one of these two games as well. Trivial Pursuit games, War and Victory or Flicks. The prizes provided by Kimball Tavern Antiques. And there is one other major prize from Kimball Tavern Antiques, a $10 gift certificate that you can use same as cash at Kimball Tavern. Named the oldest bowling league in Haverhill. Bowling League in Haverhill. Named that. Take a guess again. You may be familiar with some league names. Just throw it up. Maybe you'll get the right one, and we'll award you a $10 gift certificate. We're going to take a brief break for Community Spotlight, but get your fingers on the dial. Let's hear your thoughts. 978-374-1900. We'll be right back.
Open mic!
Tim Coco and the Open Mic will be right back. Get in on the action. Call 978-374-1900 or email tcoco@whav.net. If you are enjoying this program, please consider making a donation right now. Your donations to not-for-profit WHAV help keep these vital community services on the air. Donate online at www.whav.net.
Stay informed each day with local news, coupled with Pacifica's worldwide coverage. Only local radio can bring you local news, but only WHAV does.
Catch the wave!
Hi, I'm meteorologist Gary Best. Do you need to know if it's going to be hot or cold, wet or dry? Well, find out every half hour, 7 days a week with WAVE Weather. I'll keep you in touch with up-to-the-minute reports covering the greater Merrimack Valley and beyond. It's WHAV for accurate weather when you want it.
Community Spotlight is brought to you by Haverhill Bank. Haverhill Bank is a generous supporter of the area's civic and cultural programs.
That's all it takes is just one bank. Haverhill Bank. Community Spotlight.
The Andover Day Street Fair, to benefit the Colleen Ritzer Memorial Scholarship, will take place on Saturday, September 6th, from 10 to 5 in downtown Andover. There will be local artists, crafts, dancers, food, and live music. For more info, visit www.andoverday.com or www.andoverbusiness.org. Someone you know is on WHAV. To submit or read your own nonprofit announcements, click on the Contact tab at whav.net or email news@whav.net. In the Edwin V. Johnson Newsroom, this is Nate Webster.
WHAV Open Mic.
From the Edwin V. Johnson Newsroom, WHAV presents the Open Mic Show with Tim Coco. Make your voice heard. Call 978-374-1900. That's 978-374-1900. Or email tcoco@whav.net.
Welcome back to the Open Mic Show. I'm Tim Coco. Nathan E. Webster III is in Master Control. Let's go to the telephones. You are on the Open Mic Show.
Good evening, Tim. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Nate gave me a kind of a preview. You have some interesting questions for me.
Yeah. Before you started talking about this artisan, Mr. Rocco, the only Rocco I remember was Rocco's Dump in Danvers.
Oh, okay.
Did you ever hear of that?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I thought it was Rocco's in Danvers. That was
I'm actually maybe if that's Rocco Shelzy.
The other name that comes up also is Rupchinux or something like that in Danvers. But anyway, my question is, do you think Mr. Rocco actually intentionally did that to draw attention to his work, really?
Well, I don't know, because I don't know that it was discovered right away.
Oh, I see.
I actually think that this was, I can't imagine it was a mistake. Because the word heart wasn't broken, I'm told, on the stained glass. So the head was cracked, and it seems like he figured nobody would ever notice, and he'd get a little quiet laugh out of it.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's very interesting. I wish we knew more about it.
Yeah, I wish somebody would. I wish he had divulged it.
But now I think it's rather. I think it's rather important that it stays. Although I don't know if church members become aware of it because of this, because it is hard to read those words inside the sanctuary.
Just imagine, though, Tim. Just imagine how much it would cost now to correct it.
Yeah, I suppose you're right.
We're talking about trying to match the pigments of those glass. We had. I told you. Did I tell you about the one that we had here in Methuen at the church, and vandals threw rocks at it and broke it. And
that's too bad.
Yeah, I think it was a Unitarian church, not too far from where the Red Tavern is.
Oh yes,
yeah.
I think you did mention that.
Beautiful gray. Yeah.
What's interesting is that Connick's work has all of his records have been preserved, and they are online. And
I'd love to know who did the stained glass windows in that church in Methuen. Maybe I'll call one of the historical people.
Yeah, I bet we could. I
sang in that church once.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, a friend of mine was getting married for the third time.
Okay.
And he wanted all kinds of songs. He wanted me to sing 2 or 3 songs, which were, well, even the Protestant church had imprimatur. In other words, they weren't approved.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I went to the rehearsals and everything, and he wanted me to sing. We've only just begun.
Oh, geez.
And this was his third marriage.
Well, okay.
Yeah, he's passed on.
You have a sense of humor.
Phil, yeah.
All right.
But anyway.
What else did you have on your mind? Because I understand you had 3 topics.
Yeah, the subject of conflict of interest.
Well, what's interesting about it is technically, when I mentioned that I might have a conflict of interest since I'm on the Hall of Fame committee, actually, technically a conflict of interest is if, maybe someone is paying me to push Rocco. That would be a conflict. But actually, there's no real conflict. It's just that probably the board would like, if I was serious about this nomination, that I discuss it with them first.
Yeah. But I had the pleasure, if you want to call it pleasure, of sitting in at an enforcement action, sitting right next to 3 lawyers from Robeson Gray.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, and I found out later, what they were getting that night. It was like, I'm pretty sure there were 3 lawyers. They only got travel in addition to travel perks. It's my understanding they were getting like $700 an hour.
Oh, really?
It was an enforcement case, and the department was enforcing some, violations of regulations, and they were their very prestigious firm. In fact, they represented Beatrice Foods. I'm pretty sure the attorneys represented the Beatrice Foods in the Woven leukemia cases there.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah, because the attorney who was the big shot for the defense was with Robeson Gray. In fact, his name is Fasher, and he was up until about 6 months ago still practicing law, and he was in his 80s and 90s or so. Yeah. He was also an adjunct professor at Harvard. But so many things you see in municipal government that really, it's disappointing, really.
Well, that reminds me. Actually, it was an environmental case. I can't remember the lawyer's name. It might come to me. A big firm. Back in the early 1980s, under Mayor Thomas Vathalli, the city had hired an environmental law firm to fight the SRS, Hazardous Waste Reprocessing Facility, right in Ward Hill. And the new administration came into office. That was Bill Ryan, and his city solicitor was John J. Ryan III. And they were looking at these bills. Gregor McGregor. You must have run across that name.
He's still practicing law.
I bet you, because he was
I know him very well, yeah.
And so the city challenged his fees, and to the point where they were going to take him to the disputed fees panel of the Bar Association. It's funny, you bring back memories for me, Jerry.
Yeah, Greg McGregor. I know an attorney.
It's hard actually to forget a name like that.
Yeah, yeah. He was involved in a case that I was involved in with Leominster Coat. It was a company up in Leominster, and we traced it by odor. My nose.
Volatile organic compounds, huh?
Yeah, it was an odorous compound that they were discharging from a paper coating company up in Leominster, and we drove along the Merrimack River, and I got up to this place up in there in Leominster, and I told the driver, I said, turn left here. He says, what do you mean turn left? I says, the perpetrator is up this way.
So you had
we went up, it was Leominster.
You had a fine instrument there, your nose.
And anyway, McGregor said to me, he said, Jerry, they should have your nose insured by Lloyd's of London.
Well, maybe so.
Yeah, he was a good guy, though, good fellow,
Actually, he seemed nice enough. I think one of the issues, and I might be mixing up lawyers, so I'm going to say there could have been another lawyer on the case, but city officials would be invited out for a lavish lunch or dinner by the law firm.
You see that a lot of times.
Only to find out that shows up on the city's bill later.
Yeah.
With markup.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, I've seen where whole school committees have been invited to, to go to, to supposedly see what the consultant has done in another school or another community, and obviously that, it ends up with that particular consultant getting the job,
Yeah. So those are conflicts of interest.
Yeah, but it's awful hard, though. I mean, because I think myself, from what my experience through the years, that even the people who are supposed to be looking at sometimes have, may have questionable make questionable decisions. You know,
it's a good point. Unfortunately, our show has to come to a close, or they're going to cut us off television.
Yeah.
So if you'd like, can you continue that next week?
Sure. Because just in closing, though, I really think that if it looks like a conflict, smells like a conflict, it generally is a conflict. And I don't really think that the governor, just from public perspective, I don't think the governor should be involved in the Demoulas thing. After all, his wife is a managing partner of Rose and Gray.
No, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
It's
the
the only
appearance of a conflict of interest is just as
it's
bad.
kind of clear cut, really.
No, actually, I think you're absolutely right. The governor should have stayed out of this, and I frankly don't think it did him any political favors.
No, it won't.
No.
If he was running for governor again, he wouldn't get the 5 votes in his family.
No, absolutely not. So you're
All right.
you're absolutely right.
We'll talk to you next week.
All right, thanks so much, Jerry. Appreciate your call.
Thank you.
All right, good night. All right, that's it for the Open Mic Show. Those of you watching on WHAV TV actually got to go to the ending and some of the cable stations, but HCTV 22 has taken us off. I feel like Jack Benny when he ran out of time on network radio. All right, we'll be back next week with the cake drawing, so stay tuned for the Open Mic Show next Monday night at 6:30. Have a great night.
Open Mic!
Join Tim Coco live on the Open Mic again next Monday night at 6:30. The opinions expressed on the Open Mic Show are not necessarily those of WHAV, its underwriters, or affiliated stations. The Open Mic Show came to you from the Edwin V. Johnson Newsroom.